Well, Guy, new year, new lockdown. So what's the feeling like at MG? How's the business going to cope?
Well, we had a really, really good year last year. We broke all records. We're about the only manufacturer that actually grew in a market that went back over 30%. So I guess, you know, from the MG UK motor team, we're all pretty positive about things in a very difficult set of circumstances, of course. You know, clearly, most of our dealers, in terms of showrooms, are actually physically shut, albeit they're still selling cars. We suspect we'll probably sell about half our budgeted volume this month, which is a long way from being a disaster, but a long way from where we'd like to be, obviously.
You mentioned the market. UK car registrations haven't been this low for 30 years, yet MG have had a bumper season. Where's the growth going to come from in 2021?
I think we'll see more of the same, to be perfectly honest. We have two effectively new cars, the MG5 and the HS plug-in, available this year, which frankly, because of the lockdowns last year and delays to shipments, we only really had available for sale this month. So to all extent and purpose, though we launched them last year, they're only really being sold this year. So that's going to give us genuinely incremental sales this year. We have new dealer partners. We've got probably 20 dealer partners that we appointed last year who have only just started to get going properly. And we are appointing another 18 dealers in the next 6 months as well. So they're seeing this franchise as being a fantastic business opportunity to invest in, which is great news for us. And of course, these people are investing in major metropolitan conurbations, which are currently open points to us. We don't have representation in them at the moment. So again, every car that these people sell on our behalf, and theirs of course, will be almost entirely incremental. So we'll see genuine growth from that. The real growth, however, will come from our range of electric vehicles, which, you know, if you exclude the likes of Tesla, who only build electric vehicles, and Smart, for instance, we have the highest percentage sales of any mainstream manufacturer in the UK of electric vehicles in our mix. We're the only manufacturer, and I really do believe this is a fundamentally important point, that can offer an electric car, a credible electric car, a good electric car at the price point we do in the marketplace. And we have capitalized on that, and we've done extraordinarily well from that in the last 12 months.
You mentioned lockdown delays to shipments, and I think there might be some more supply chain issues, because while the Brexit trade deal might have been done, there was very little detail on the impact it would have on the motor industry.
Yeah. I mean, you read about it all the time. You watch it on the news. You talk, you know, the container ports being full of products where people have been trying to build up inventory, etc. I guess because automotive has slightly longer lead times and are more complex products to build and store, obviously, we haven't had the opportunity, in common with most manufacturers, to build up huge stocks of inventory prior to another lockdown and Brexit taking place. I mean, the good news is, irrespective of your views on Brexit, right or wrong, the good news is, you know, a deal has been done that doesn't involve any tariffs. And that's great. That's important for everybody. There's some vagueness and ambiguity about potential tariffs being applied to locally sourced components, such as batteries. But to be perfectly honest with you, and I've been trying to understand from the SMMT, that's the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders in the UK, exactly what that means for automotive. And there seems to be complete confusion still today as to what exactly some of the fine print means going forward. But today, yes, there's some issues you read about in the press about getting products into Northern Ireland. We haven't experienced any of that. We have stocks on the ground. There's nothing stopping us selling cars in the UK without tariffs, so as far as we're concerned, until somebody tells us otherwise. I'm not saying it's necessarily business as usual, but it certainly feels like that.
Are you saying you have or you haven't got under the bonnet of the Brexit trade?
We haven't got completely under the bonnet. I don't think anybody has, to be perfectly honest with you. Again, it appears that some of the fine detail, I mean, if you recall going back a couple of weeks, you know, it was fishing was the last point that everybody was arguing about. There was clearly a number of issues that were causing last minute problems, and one of those was linked to automotive, this locally sourced parts issue. That appears not to have gone away, but appears to be still subject to protracted negotiation. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't know the detail of those negotiations. But today, nothing is affecting us selling cars in the UK. And certainly we've not been made aware of anything that will impede us going forward. So, as I said, irrespective of what you think about Brexit, has it affected our business today? No, it's not.
Looking forward, you said that 2021 and beyond is going to be all about electric vehicles. The UK government's mandate is to get rid of all combustion engines by 2030, but you're going to beat that by 5 years. Well, what is that going to mean? What does that trend mean for small cars?
It's quite interesting. You talk about, I mean, I've been driving an electric car for 18 months. And I've done over 100,000 miles driving an electric car. I do a round trip of 230, 240 miles a day. So a lot of this talk about range anxiety, it's perfectly manageable for most people. And the truth of the matter is, you know, I think everybody's got hung up on range and charge points and what have you. For an average customer, and I think this is starting to be understood by customers as opposed to, you know, manufacturers talking about it and the press talking about it, is not so much the range that the car can do. In fact, people like Honda have just brought out, you know, a new electric vehicle with astonishingly short range, but it's about the cycle of use that the customer wants it for. Now, the average retail customer, average person that buys a car, will do less than 8,500 miles a year now. So the truth of the matter is, whether your car does 150 miles or 200 miles or 250 miles or even 300, for most retail customers, actually, that's probably fine. You know, you charge it once a week, once a fortnight, once every couple of days. It's not the end of the world. What is a big problem is the actual price of these vehicles. And that's where we've found a real niche, because the fact of the matter is there's a massive premium still being charged for electric cars in the UK. You know, we pride ourselves on, you know, giving the customers more, if you like, by buying an MG. And one of the things they get from buying an MG is an absolutely world-class electric vehicle with good range, brilliant drivability, all the kit you could possibly imagine, at a price point which is, frankly, thousands of pounds below our competitors. And considering that, whilst we're not a challenger brand in the UK anymore, we're far from that, we still lag behind some of our mainstream competitors in brand awareness and instant recall from customers. You know, to be the #1 manufacturer in terms of mix of electric sales after the Teslas and the Smarts of the world inside 12, 14 months is an astonishing achievement. And I do believe that's down to the service that our dealers are giving customers and the absolutely fantastic value for money that our electric cars represent.
The car industry has been challenged and it's changing. I'm thinking of mergers like PSA, Fiat, Chrysler. I'm thinking of reboots like they're doing at Renault. So where does MG Motor fit into the changing auto landscape?
I think, you know, we have to keep in context that, you know, MG Motor is part of a much bigger organisation, obviously. And that's great because all the research and development, the investment that's going on behind the scenes is there for us. So we're reaping the benefits, if you like, without having to make that direct investment ourselves. If we were a small local motor manufacturer, then frankly, we'd probably be looking at, you know, a very difficult set of circumstances coming towards us. But we're not. We're part of a truly global conglomerate, and we reap the benefits of that, clearly. The MG brand is an iconic brand. You know, it's a much-loved brand. Two biggest car clubs in the world, MG Owners Club and the MG Car Club. You can go to the States, and it's a household name still. Australia, in fact, MGs are doing very well in Australia. India, all around the world, it's a brand that people love and have fond memories of. And I genuinely believe if we can bring something different to the market, and that is going to be, you know, our range of affordable, high-quality electric cars to the mainstream manufacturers, the brand and that USP that we've developed in the last 14, 15 months will give us the growth potential literally around the world that we're actually looking for. And we're realising it already. You know, we're not just seeing it in the UK, we're seeing it in overseas markets as well.
So, pandemic, what pandemic?
Well, I mean, yeah, it'd be lovely to have it behind us, and you know, hopefully we'll have it behind us before too long. And it has had an impact. We can't pretend it's not. You know, we will sell half the cars this month that, you know, we planned on, but we'll still sell, you know, 1,000+ units this month, which is fantastic. And we will recover that volume as the year rolls on. No question about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.